Okay, next one is Mr. Beauchamp, Bradley.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm an Arizona native. I was born and raised in Phoenix, Arizona. Lived there for almost 20 years before I moved to Globe, Arizona. Spent almost the rest of my life so far in Globe, except for the 4 years that I went to San Diego to go to law school. I guess I'm the lawyer that's running. I originally started when I moved to Globe, and I was working in an open pit turquoise mine, and I later went to college. Got my degree in elementary education and used to teach government to junior high school and high school level. I taught the founding documents, as a gentleman approached me earlier and asked. I've taught the founding documents. I believe in the founding documents. I believe in the founding fathers. I left to teaching and I went on to law school. And I went to law school because I wanted to learn more about the Constitution. And I took constitutional law, and I was excited to take constitutional law, and then I was extremely disappointed in constitutional law. Because you don't learn the Constitution in constitutional law. You learn how the Constitution has been misinterpreted for the last 200 years. What you learn in constitutional law is what the Supreme Court has ruled, whichever way the wind blows, whichever political party happens to be in office. And their interpretation of the Constitution is not what the written word of the document is. When it says the right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed, the word shall in the law is absolute. There is no interpretation. The right to keep and bear arms will not be infringed, period. However, they continue to interpret the Second Amendment over and over again until the most recent legislation in D.C. and then again in Illinois, and this for the city of Chicago. I graduated from law school and I moved back to Globe, Arizona in 2002, and I've practiced law there since, up until about September of this year when I closed my practice and decided that I was going to do this full time. Because if you're going to beat an incumbent who's going to be heavily funded, you better be working at it full time. You can't have a foot on the dock and one in the boat. You're either on or you're off. And I've been attacking this full time ever since that started. Now, I practice all different kinds of areas in the law. I practice property law, I've practiced family law, I've practiced criminal defense. When you practice law in a town of about 15,000, you have to do a lot of, you better know everything about everything, because everybody comes to you with a different, you're like the veterinarian of the law. You got to be able to handle all kinds of different animals as they come into your office. And I did that for the last 8 years, and one of the things that I have is I not only have a knowledge of what the Constitution says, of what the framers' intent was, of what my studying and my teaching for the last 20 years of studying, teaching, and defending the Constitution. But I also have the other side. I also know how the Constitution gets interpreted. I know how the Supreme Court works. I know how when a law and a bill is drafted, I know exactly the language that's in there that could potentially be unconstitutional. You're probably looking at the only human being on the planet that read all 3 healthcare bills. I know what's in there. That's why I've said it. I've been saying it for months now, and I've been saying it most recently in the last couple of weeks, that it's the administration currently that's misguided, not the state of Arizona. It's the healthcare law that was passed that's unconstitutional. Senate Bill 1070 is constitutional. They've got it backwards. We're at a point now where we have an overreaching government. You cannot have an economy that is dominated by the United States government, and you cannot then couple that with out-of-control entitlement programs. For the first time in history, the greatest nation on the planet can actually see what the end result of their new idea is going to be before they ever put it into effect. And that new idea and that result is the country of Greece. It is what's going on in Europe. The Romans never got to do it. The British never got to see it. For the first time in history, the greatest nation on the planet can see where they're headed.
And thank you, Bradley.
Thank you very much.
Okay, guys, you gotta keep one eye over here once in a while.